Hi guys, and welcome back to my coding corner, and today you're going to get to see me refine the rest of the apps that I need to. So that would be my Hello World app, my ring counter and my temperature converter. What I'm going to do here though is I'm going to quickly update this so I'll then say that I've done it. So I said hello world, ring counter and temperature converter. And that takes care of that, and that's there now. So I can now get rid of that. And I'm going to go into the main form and add some more bits as well. So get rid of that. So get rid of that. And then we'll add 3 labels. I think in this case I'm just going to, let me unlock that for now. Oh, so you're going to do that, alright? And I'll rename those accordingly. And then I'll call this one Others label. And I think in this case I better just, the size of that is by 50, and that's by 50 as well. I'm going to put that over here. And then I'll lock that into place. And then I'm going to do let me unlock that again. There we go, that's a bit better. And then I'm going to put in my librarian, and then I'm going to disable that. I have disabled it. I need to re-enable this one though. I'm going to put that into timer, I think, but there is one I do want to add to that as well. Which will then be a schedule. Can I fit that? No, I can't. I'm just going to put schedule then. And then we'll sort that one out. Because I've got loads of apps here as well. I've got loads of app ideas I want to carry over to what I've done before. I'm going to carry on from what I've done before. I'm just trying to think of something. I'm just trying to remember one of them. I'm sure that will come to me eventually. Let's put that down there for now, and then what I'll do is I'll unlock that. Put there. There we go, much better. See, we'll put that as 80, so I'll put that at 80 as well. Unlock them. And this is what we're looking like. And then, so I'll show you what that looks like. I'm in the way of the output. That's what we're looking at. And now we'll just refine the hello world. But before I do that, there's one thing I forgot to do, and that's update the icon on my about the program. And I moved everything out of my OneDrive because it went all horribly wrong, and thus I had to download everything from it. That's what I was looking for. There we are. And then I'll just save that. I'll just quickly double check that as well. Yeah, it's updated now, that's good. And then I'll update the version number in that. So we've got then, wherever I can find it, there is. That's what I'll look at. So it's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 13. We'll just go by number of buttons, so that would then 2 new programs. With the ones that I've added, that will then become 4. And $13, 4, 13. I didn't want to do that. Right, let me just get back to the main form. There we go. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, we're up to 13 now. Now before I carry on with that, I'm going to go into my Hello World app, get rid of that, because what I will do then is if I click OK, I'll then go, I'll add a message box. And that was exactly what I wanted. And then I'm going to make that just, put it as just name, or enter name. And then I want to be able to unlock those, because we've now got rid of that label there, because the label then becomes a text box, a label then becomes a message box even. And then make that a bit smaller. I've put that in the wrong place, didn't I? I've put that in the wrong place. I think because I've done that, I'll then do the put the clear button at the top. And then do that. And then let's try that. Just one thing I want to look at before I do that as well. And that's the following. So we want variable, display, and 12. Do I want it at 12? Or did I want it at 9? No, I wanted to keep it at 9. But I did know to leave it at that. Apart from the label, which then says enter the name. That I want to keep. That I do want to make variable. And then with that, I can then update the icon. And then I'll press F5 and have a look at that. There we go. And that was all we needed. But now that that's done, I'm just going to make that 12 as well. My property window just disappeared. Make that unlocked. Make that longer just in case we need it. And then we'll try again. That works. And then we want that, and that equals true. And that should be cleared, visible. Like that. Let's try that again. That's what we were after. Let's just move them down a bit because I've got add a label there, add that overlooking the text, add that overlapping the text box. And that should, I'd say that'll be good as done. Now let's move on to the main form again. Because I want to be able to do some bits here as well. Call it that. I'm going to put that into timers for now because I'm going to put a clock into it eventually. And I've got some ideas as well. Too bad you can't put ampersands there. But you could do that for a moment. And then we want, that is absolutely fine. We want to make sure it's enabled. Ring counter, so this button will be renamed to Mario Timer. So you've seen a video game, you'll see a video where I analyse different Mario timers, and that's what I want. That's what I went for. I'm going to rename this one Sonic Timer. Because eventually I will add a timer into it. This one I'm going to set as a timer. Let's put it as a timer. That's better. And then we have stopwatch button. All of this will be added. All the extra features to that will be added eventually when I introduce more bits. And then we want then I could put that in. I'll do a weakest link timer as well. And then we'll do a timer tick, a tick timer, so we have 4, 6, 9, 11, 17. So it's 4, 6, 9, 11, 17. Let me count those. So we've got 4, 6, 8, So 4, 6, 8, 11, 17, 4, 6, 8, 11, 17, 18, so once I've added all those, I can then say that I've added 9 new apps. I've added 9 new programs to this app. But before I do that, let me just open that up. So that's looking much better, and eventually I'll put them into menus. But those will get done after the refine, and I've added timers. Well, let's go to the Sonic counter now. That's what I've called it. I wonder where that went. Oh, it's still called a ring counter. Do that. I'm going to add a label into that. Let's change the icon. Let's add a label. Let's put you down there for now, and then what I'll do is I'll add a label that says rings label and put rings. And then I'm just going to make this, just going to put 999 for now. And I'll make that 18 and variable semi-bold. Or even that. I think I'll just leave that at that for now. Yeah, that's bang on in the middle. And then I'm going to make that small ring. I'm going to rename these as well. Call it ring button and just get rid of that +1 and put ring. I will have that. Okay, and then we'll go monitor button. Yeah, I'll just make it a monitor. Call it damage. And then the close will stay as it is. And then we'll add another button over here. That looks good enough. And then what we'll do, so I'll add other bits as well. We want this to become big ring button. And then we'll do big ring. And then I'll click on that. Ring counter text equals plus 50. It's just nice that they gave me the idea of 100, but yeah, it's 50. Let's open that up and see if that works. Okay, we have some errors. Ah, that's why. So we have an error on here. And no more. And then of course there's one thing I need to do, which I haven't done yet. Which I will do now. Let me put myself back into the bottom left hand corner. Is reset that back to 0. And then I'll lock everything into place as such. And then I'll try again. And that looks a lot better. It's more meaningful. But sooner or later I am going to sooner or later I am going to change that so it's let's change that back to clear. There we go. And then that should be done. Another thing I wanted to look at would be the temperature converters. So I shall do that quickly now. Pop it down here for a moment. And then let's get rid of the converter from there. But I will lock everything into place when it's done. Distance, currency, weight. And then we'll have this one as weight convert button. We'll have this one as currency convert. And this one, distance. As such. And then we'll lock these into place. And we'll lock everything into place. Apart from that, because then I want to make that center. And that'll be the best place to do that. And that makes things a lot better. Let me re-enable that, the temperature, because I've got a form for that. And then, with that being done, I'll just quickly count those. It's 4, there's 8, 4, 8, 10, 12, 15, 21. And 12. And that takes care of that. But then what I want to do quickly, and it will be a quick one, is I'm going to just move them down, get rid of the generate button, because then what I'll do is I'll update the form, I'll update the code, so then it would then, yeah, I'll update the code so then it would do that. Then we want to do, got Celsius label, so now I'm going to put that under Celsius. It would help if I could spell what text is that. I'll make them 12. And then I'll make these 18. And I'll make them right align instead of in the center. And then I'll put a label, I'll modify the labels, and then that now says Fahrenheit. And then we'll just put the close button there. I'm going to update the icon as well. And that's the last one it needs doing. And then I'm going to make this one false for read only. And then I'm going to have it so that this moves into there. Get rid of the generate button code because it's no longer there. And now we can get rid of the random as well. And then let's see what this does. I, of course, have got to re-enable it as well. And then I'll just lock those as well. Let's try that again. So then that becomes that. And then you could put something like, no you can't, because you can't do minus on that. Right, so it caps you to freezing point. Well, that's good, because then what I might do then in that case is then update that to Kelvin. Yeah, we'll update that to Kelvin. Just had an idea. Let's disable that. And then we'll make that read only. Is this going to be one where I switch it to KFC? We'll make that read only a false. And then we'll enable it as well. Kelvin label. Because you can't go any lower than absolute zero. It is practically impossible in that 0 Kelvin. And then we'll put it here. Celsius text dot text equals Kelvin text. Whoops, Kelvin. I don't even think I've changed the label on that. No, I haven't. Kelvin text. Let me just quickly change that. Minus 273.15. So at least you know exactly what I'm talking about. When I talk about absolute zero. Let me try it this time. Because you can't do string on that, so it's absolutely fine. Right, let me try again. But of course you can't leave it blank either. So you can't have it blank either. That's a number form for you. Let's get rid of that. And then we'll make that, get rid of the decimal point in that. And that. and we'll keep the decimal point in there. One thing I do want to do, which I'll look at later, is to put these as two Welcome back. Sorry about that. It was my partner rang me and he needed me to rescue him when I stepped to the task straight away. So with that, I've just wanted to format the number and see if that works. Let's see what that does. No, it's not doing anything. So, okay, that's not a problem. I'll have a look at that. I'll have a look back at my dissertation and see what I did there. So I'll have a look back at my dissertation and we'll see what we'll do there. Let me look at 2 on that. Of course, I forgot about that. I was working now until I do that. Yeah, that's not going to work. But I managed to get it working as much as I could. Well, that's everything now refined and reorganised, and it's all now looking much more tidier. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and I will see you soon for the next one.